An officer was seen shoving an Occupy Dallas protester in a YouTube video. He's now been put on restricted duty. I have the video here for you. It's been slowed down, and you have to look pretty carefully. What's going on is that there's some kind of there's like a step of some kind. I don't know if it's where there's plants or what it is, and you see this off-duty officer shoving someone, and it doesn't really seem like it's for any reason. Fortunately, they seem to be dealt with accordingly. Let's take a look, and I'll describe it to you. So as you can see here, it's in the upper part of your screen. Hands are on right now. There's the push. The person falls apparently on their back. That's the police officer there.
It doesn't look like he's off duty.
You know, I think what he's wearing, it's a police officer who's wearing a security uniform similar to the Bank of America type security guys. So I think he's working as private security exactly at this point. And he was thrown off of this flower bed. Let me rewind it and play it once more for you.
Is that a mullet?
It seems like he's wearing some kind of a hat, not necessarily a mullet, but it may be. It may be. So that's going on. People very angry about that. And you know what? Occupy Wall Street has done some stuff. I think we were talking, Lewis, about what would the mechanism be, as much as we support the reasons behind the Occupy Wall Street movement, what would the mechanism be through which it actually affects change? And I think we've started to see it in a few points. Number one, income inequality and income disparity have been inserted into the national landscape, even for Republicans. Eric Cantor on national news brought up income disparity. His explanation for how to fix it, I don't agree with. It was a bogus, ridiculous, typically naive Republican senator and congressman explanation. But he brought it up, and he wasn't demonizing the mere idea of talking about income inequality. We can clearly point to Occupy Wall Street for that, I think, Lewis. That was not part of the legitimate national discussion before these protests.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Banks have actually changed their policies. A number of banks, which were instituting a variety of different fees, including the Bank of America $5 a month ATM fee, have now rescinded those policies. One could argue people would have complained regardless of Occupy Wall Street, and those fees may have gone away. I think that there's no question that Occupy Wall Street has at least played a role in that. So we're still pretty far from actually changing the way banks work and the corrupt, cronyistic system that exists among Wall Street and big banks. But people's actions have actually made banks change some fees that do result in millions of dollars of revenue. And that, I think, is significant. Now, somebody else could come and make the argument, you know what? They were going to lose so many customers by keeping those fees. They're actually still coming out ahead financially by eliminating them. Fine. It was still the response to popular complaint. So I think we can look at that as well. And I think generally there's a number of other issues that have now come into the forefront nationally. We're also seeing the idea of protests is really having somewhat of a renaissance, I think. Isn't it, Lewis? The idea that protests can and should take place, and that there should be more of them, even if it's not immediately clear how they will affect change.
I guess so. I mean, this is certainly the largest and longest protest I've ever seen.
And most widespread we've seen in a while.
Yeah. And like we just said, it really hasn't accomplished that much. But
well, I think it's actually starting to accomplish more and more. I disagree. My point was to say it is finally now accomplishing tangible change. We'll have to keep watching.
I think you're right. The most important thing it's done is the bringing up the inequality, right?
I think so.
Income inequality. But still, during the debates, you're still going to hear the same things from Republicans. You're still going to hear the same things from the Democrats. And
we'll see.
And after the election,
later, I'm going to ask...
What's going to change?
I'm going to ask Glenn Greenwald later whether he thinks Occupy Wall Street will have a real effect on the 2012 election. I want to take a break, but before we do that, I want to mention very clearly, so that there's no doubt at all in your mind, that right now, until Thanksgiving, if you become a David Pakman Show member and do a yearly membership at any level, we're going to send you a David Pakman Show t-shirt for free. Any color, any style, and any size. Do that at davidpakman.com/membership. And on today's bonus show, we'll talk about ways to have a happier life, the EU banning X-ray body scanners, a North Carolina town with no candidates, and a lot more. So get the bonus show. Get the free t-shirt, too. Stay tuned.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.